Hey everyone, as a lot of you guys know, the off season for Axie Origin has started. For me personally, I love the off season between seasons because it gives us an opportunity to really experiment, try out new things without having to worry about losing our rank. One of the builds I actually wanted to try out during this last season was a curse build, but unfortunately I didn't get the right runes and I also didn't get the right Axies before the season ended. I'm thankful now to show you a team that I created that has been doing pretty well. It's not the most efficient, but it's something I've been tinkering with in the back. So with all that said, let's get started. All right, so let's get into the runes and charms of this curse build. As you can see right here, the team's a little different. I'm running an aqua, plant, and a bug at the end, which is very rare for my teams. So with that said, let's go into the middle right here and check out what's different. A lot of the similar staple cards we have here: Cactus, Pumpkin, Carrot. We're running right now a Pure Instinct rune, but a Tough Strike rune could work right here as well. Doesn't have to be this one. I just happen to have this one from the season. So you can have these as your standards. But the thing that makes this a curse build is me incorporating some of these curse cards like Sleepless. Sleepless shuffles one Daze card into your deck, into your opponent's deck, and that causes a lot of problems for your opponent because Daze, as you can see right there, has no way to be removed from your opponent's deck unless they have a specific card that removes curses. So once you add a Daze to their deck, it will always be there for the rest of the game, and it could cause a lot of problems for your opponent as the game keeps continuing on. So here we got Sirius, one of the strongest mouths for plant cards. I almost have it almost in all my builds. And Rosa I'm using just because I like the ability of Rosa to be able to disable something, so it creates a great opportunity all the time. Right here we're using Carrot, where we're just using a lot of Vitality Charms. You notice almost all of them are Vitality Charms. I give the Cactus a little extra damage with the Power Charm right here, but if you just basically use all the Vitality Charms you can, because you're taunting right here, this Axie needs to have a good amount of HP. Next up, we got our Aqua right here, our tank. Always very simple with the Aquas, a lot of HP. This is just meant to survive. We're using the leftover potion just because it recovers your Axie's HP over time, and that's really great for the tank. My staple cards are here. Nemo for the tail, Anemone for the back. But we have a few different cards here for sure. One of the main cards that is different is Unku. Basically, it adds a goo card, a curse card to your opponent's deck, and it's another nasty curse card to add to your opponent's deck because they'll have to eventually use one energy, as you can see right there, to get rid of it from their deck. So this is really good curse card to add into your opponent. Very strong and very sticky. Your opponent has a lot of problems with this one, so that's part of the headpiece of this Axie. Of course, it has Sleepless as well, so it has two curse cards that it can add in from just this Axie alone. So Sleepless and Curse and Uncle are very staple-ish to this deck, and the other cards can be vary a little bit. Risky Fish has a lot of damage for an Aqua just naturally, so it's really good. And Nemo, you can banish it and get a little heal, thinning out your deck a little bit throughout the game. As far as the charms for this Axie, very simple, all Vitality Charms. This Axie is in the front. It's going to be the most likely hit Axie throughout the game, so giving it as much HP will help it live longer and help give your back Axies more time to add in those curse cards. Let's get into our last Axie. It's a bug Axie, which is really rare for my builds right here. And why are we using a bug? We're basically using a Tough Strike right here. Basic rune to use, no different. But basically all these cards can be very different, but the ones I for sure feel you need is an Ear Breathing. An Ear Breathing is a 2 energy cost card that, it hits randomly 4 times, giving you the possibility to add 4 goo cards to your opponent if it hits different targets. So if it hits a summon in addition to the other Axies, but its regular attack does 120 damage plus a goo in the worst case scenario, and that's amazing for this card. It's actually very powerful for the bug class. It's one of their strongest cards, I feel, and for a curse deck, this thing's going to be so annoying for your opponent, especially if they're summoning a lot of things to the field. Another card to just point out here, Gravelant. It adds fear to your opponent, causing their deck just to fill in with different kind of curse cards, giving them a lot of problems overall. Right here we have Ronin, just because it's a good damage card to add up to all these other ones while you're defending. Parasite, The stats on Parasites are really great. The attack, it's a 70 damage card. Right now it's amplified a little bit. 70 damage card's amazing to have. And Bookworm is just a card to search out other cards. It thins out your deck, gives you a banish. I feel search cards are very strong because they have this banish mechanic on them. And obviously right here we have Square Teeth. It's a 0 cost 35 or 25 damage card usually. And that's very, very powerful for its value, and especially if it can synergize with shields like Rabalant, you can get a lot of damage out of this actually. As far as the charms for this Axie, they can vary a lot, but I've been more successful with bugs by giving them a lot of attack power. A lot of their charms actually are very damage oriented, ironically. So they have a lot of damage. So I just add damage to the 0 cost card. I add damage to the Parasite. And Trickster is a very special epic card that I got, but you don't need it. It allows you to draw when you play a shield or a skill card, which is very powerful. You could even add it to Bookworm technically if you really wanted to, but then at that point you only get one-time use of it, which is not so great sometimes. But overall, just add attack power to your cards and add as many vitality as you can with the remaining points. Honestly, at this point, this one, you can really play around with what you feel comfortable with. All right, so let's see this team in action right here. So we're going to be playing against another team. Not much to say about them. They're using a bug themselves as their tank, which is very interesting because bugs don't naturally have HP charms to them. You have to get other kind of charms, the basic ones. But basically, their bird also has a Raven's tactic right here. Basically chubby, a lot of things to worry about with this. Actually, double 2, you usually don't want to do double 2 like this. 2 energy cost cards, it can cost you later on in the game, but he's banking on doing a lot of damage, so we're going to see if this plays out for him. Basically, I start off the game using my Rosa, sort of thinning out the deck because Rosa has a banish mechanic. We basically freeze their back one. I disable 2 of his cards, but he is able to get out of it because he has his own ear breathing card, and he gave me like 3 curse cards right there, as you saw. That's crazy. So am I going to return the favor? No, I decided to take another play because they're whittling down my front Axie, so I decided to take a more defensive play. I was able to draw out a card because of the tricky charm, and I just stopped right there because I know this back Axie does a ton of damage, so I need to lower the amount of damage they're doing. He's just hitting me with everything, using double talk, everything he's got just to do as much damage as possible. His win condition is definitely hitting me with a lot of damage cards. As I said, Risky Fish right there is great, does a ton of damage, just base stats, everything. And I'm hitting him with a lot of damage from the bug right there. And as you can see, it revealed a few of his cards because of Parasite's effect. And boom, 38 damage on a 0 cost card. That's amazing. I always think that's so interesting to see for me. He's summoning his own bird right here. He's hitting me with the, oh, so he's trying to mitigate the cost of the 2 right here by having a bird out. I can see what he's trying to do. Yeah, he's having trouble killing this front Axie because of the healing and the armor that I'm putting on it. So armor is actually pretty good, I feel. Here we're gonna go. Cactus, of course. Pull all the damage away from the front Axie so he can heal. Hit him with another Sleepless. So the curses are starting to go into his deck right now. Gonna hit him with an enemy right there. Pretty solid hit. And then I just reload again by being able to get in a Carrot and then the Sirius to finish it. So I used up my whole hand pretty much. That's how you know it's an efficient play, because your whole hand's gone by the end of the turn. It's gonna be his turn. Let's see how he plays it out. Gonna use Eggshell. Nice. He drew a little bit badly. He drew a lot of the cards from his other Axie. That's why I don't like playing Double Talk sometimes, because you can't play it like something like Kestrel. So it creates a few issues. That's why I've been trying to avoid using Double Talk. And here I go for my Earwing myself. He is taunted, so all the damage went to him. If it not, it would have killed off almost everything. But I am in a strong position, and a 0 cost hit right there just gets through his bird Axie, giving him only 2 Axies. This bird will actually die the second he ends his turn. So he's trying to go for as much damage. But look at this. All the curse cards land right now. And that's the beauty of this deck. If you get enough curse cards in their deck, they're going to have problems, like serious problems. So right here, I'm just tanking up, hitting into him. He's already in a bad position. I can see he's drawing Chubby next turn right there. I'm going to do a Ronin, and then he's going to have a problem getting through this Axie. He's going to have to use up all his energy just to do it. And by doing so, he leaves my back Axie ready to beat him. So he's going to succeed in killing off this Axie. But at what cost? He has a bunch of curses in his deck now because he's feared right now. So it's going to be a bad game for him right here. It looks like it's going to be the end here. And basically I just finish him off because that does a ton of damage. 36, 36, 436 damages. GG, no re for this player. And he had to face the tough situation of drawing a bunch of curse cards. But that's the end game for this build. The longer the game continues, you're going to keep adding more and more curse cards to their build. And it's just going to create a nightmare scenario where a lot of their hands will be really bad. So that was my curse build for Axie. Right now, as you see, it's a little bit in its beta form. I'm still testing it out. I don't have the perfect Axies, but hopefully with some breeding, I'll get some really nice Axies to use with this curse build. And hopefully it gives you an idea of how a curse build is supposed to play. Basically, just making your opponent fill up their deck with curse cards, and eventually you get the reward of them getting some really bad hands and really bad experiences that you can take advantage of because you don't have curse cards in your deck. There are many styles of builds right now in Axie Infinity, and hopefully I can showcase more in this off season. It's awesome to try out new things and see new builds, and hopefully I can share more and more with you as the off season continues, and then when the season 0 itself starts. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out tremendously. And if you'd like to support me, please use my creator code down below. It's code Chuck, as you can see right here on the screen. You don't need to use it, but if you're interested, it's right there. Anyways, that ends it for this video. Take care, and I'll see you guys all next time.